How to lose. We're just doing one build per matchup. And, you know, the goal isn't to just win all these games. I mean, we're going to try to win, but we're going to try to win just reasonably, right? And I think like what I also want to demonstrate with this is, you know, it's okay to lose if you have a reasonable game plan, right? And I think that's also really important. I think as people kind of like tread along the journey, people get too fixated on like win or loss, but it's better to have, you know, a defined, reasonable strategy than to not, so to speak. Yeah, so this is kind of a macro-oriented, beginner-friendly builds, I'd say. With the exception of PvP. Maybe one gate robo is probably not the easiest to play, but I would say it's probably the best way to learn the matchup, in my opinion. I think it teaches the best habits for you to eventually get good at the matchup. Just because everything else tends to be a little bit more gimmicky, and I don't really... Not really a huge fan of that. Although, you know, PvZ without Corsairs is certainly gimmicky, but you can also learn some good concepts from playing Sairless, as gimmicky as it is. Sup, lad? I think the problem with Corsairs is I think it's good to practice, but it certainly is pretty difficult to execute. So it's hard to play Corsairs effectively without, you know, just... You know, it's hard to play it effectively. Oops, I got a Zealot. Oh, I was talking too much. Anyways, I was supposed to get a Zealot first before that pylon. So we messed up our build already, but that's okay, because sometimes in C rank, we make mistakes. Or B rank, we make mistakes. I'm gonna cross scout over here, because he came to me first, and which most likely implies that he's adjacent to me. Looks like this is not going to be a 2-gate, which is very, you know, pretty common at these levels. I'd say it is really important to keep your worker alive here, at least until 310, which is when the Goon pops out. I know it can be really hard for certain people, but I would at least practice this, especially because the Zealot move speed is pretty slow, right? We also got to catch that he made a 3rd pylon. That actually tells us a fair amount. It tells us that they cannot be going for a 10-21 gate, which is like a 2-gate. They cannot be going for a 3-gate all-in. So it actually gives us a lot of information. So right now we actually have the informational advantage because he did not see my 3rd pylon, but I saw his 3rd pylon. And by staying at their base for 310, you also deny their opportunity to go for a really fast... whoops, I pressed the wrong button. That's okay. Like I said, we are fine making mistakes. We're gonna make the robo on 26. Anyways, I was saying it's important to stick around in their base, just because you just want to be able to see if they're throwing down a fast, you know, citadel and stuff, so you can kind of start ruling out certain builds, right, that they can do. Now, can they cancel it? Yeah, but it's pretty unlikely that they'll do that. With the first scouting probe, I like to just set it off to the side, and I'd like to time it so that I come back to their base right at around 440-ish. And it's always good to come in from like an angle that's away from the pathway to your base. So for example, like here, You know, in about a few seconds, I'll just send it forward. See what we can get done. I like to make scouter pylons around. And what we're trying to scout for is to see if, you know, it's possible for him to go for... Oh, looks like I got through. Okay, there's a Nexus. And when you get to scout the Nexus like this, right? You know. Because you got the scouted, the advantage here is we don't need to make an observer, right? Why? Because we know that we're not up against any sort of Dark Templar type to play, right? This is a Nexus, and it's a fast 3 gate. Sometimes they even try to come out and push into you. And they can snipe your Reaver if you're not careful. So, in order to counter this, we're just going to play a style where we will skip our... What am I trying to say? Skip our observer, because we don't need it, because they don't have Dark Templar. And just go straight into Reavers. And we'll go out for a little push, see if we can get anything done. We can't, that's okay, right? Again, we're not trying to do the absolute right things, we're just trying to be reasonable. And our intention here is to do just that. And it looks like he's gonna try to go out for a push. My Reaver's gonna be out here. And let's just say we want to come out with a push with 2 Reavers. Right, and see what we can get done. Comes in, generally speaking, if you can, you know, fire the Dragoon, that's always a good idea, right? If not, that's okay. You know, we're just gonna go ahead and make a Nexus because, you know, we can afford it. And once we have that second Reaver come out, we're gonna go ahead and make a Nexus, right? And so we're behind economically, but that's okay. I'm trying to teach, it's okay. Because we're going to allocate all of our attention towards microing when we decide to move out. Okay. So now that we have our 2 Reavers out, let's slowly start to move out. It's always good to be careful at this stage, right? Oh. Make a second gateway. It's always good to even just like send that, you know, Zealot first in general. It just does a good job of just like soaking. But here we're gonna allocate a lot of our attention towards micro, okay? It's like you might be. Let's see if we can actually get in here. Looks like they're actually there. Sometimes they actually might be behind. Yeah, they are. So we want to be careful. But let's just try to micro, see what we can get done. And really just want to focus on your Reaver control here. Just focus. Target fire. Target fire. Target fire. Just try it. Target fire. Target fire. Notice I'm not macroing at all. He has a Reaver of his own. Back up. And again, that's fine, right? I mean, did we win? No, but, you know, like I said, we had a plan. We executed against that plan. Now we have some leftover money. Let's throw down some gateways. You can get Reaver upgrades if you want. I'm gonna focus on our macro here. Because he has Reavers in play, it's good to start like putting you know, scouter pylons around. Maybe get a second gas. again, just about making reasonable plays. And we did just that, right? Maybe this game I won't get the Reaver upgrades, just because, you know, I feel like maybe it's a little bit too late. You can get it. It's certainly always good to. Instead, what we'll do is we'll just prioritize making lots of Dragoons. I wonder where his army is. I wonder if he's actually trying to attack us. It's also good measure to just, like, try to defend against any sort of drops that might come in. They might actually just be coming in to attack here as well. Who knows? And once you have a decent number of units... Oh, looks like he actually might even go and attack. Focus, focus, focus. Oh, looks like we lost it. It's okay. And we just want to, you know, be as careful as possible. Go to target fire. Target fire. Now we want to try to target their Reaver and Shuttle. If you can't do it, that's okay. And we won the fight, right? That doesn't want to fire. And, you know, that's just how things go, right? Like, we lost a Reaver early, but, you know, we were able to reasonably fight back. And so that's all we can ask for, right? We want to build up again. I think it's also probably a good idea to... Ooh, I lost that. Go into Citadel Forge. Citadel Forge generally synergizes very well. And we're just kind of reasonably macroing. You know, we can go ahead and make 8 gateways, because at this point, you know... Actually, pop quiz, pop quiz. What is the number of probes that you need at your base to support a gateway production? Anyone know? Roughly? Roughly? Go ahead and make archives. 44, yeah. 41. 41's the magic number. You can obviously make more. You can just start making some cannons. You know, we can start maybe even trying again. And sometimes in PvP, a lot of times it's really just a sparring battle with Goon and Reaver, right? Until they have, you know, things like, you know, Storm. You can really stay. Oh. And I'm gonna make Archons. And maybe actually, instead, I will just kind of play it defensively. Maybe I'll just, you know, camp outside their base. And maybe I will switch my strategy towards being a little bit more focused on an all-in push, right? Because we notice he's taking a third base, which is reasonable. However, we're gonna counter this by not taking a third base and just massing a bunch of units with Archons, hopefully with our +1 over here, and see if we could just bust our opponent outright. Okay, that's gonna be the goal. So we're just gonna focus all of our attention on making as many units as possible. Oh, looks like they're actually moving out, which I think is kind of crazy. Also target firing. target fire this. Target fire. Go ahead and make another one. You know, now that we took a fight, I feel like it'd probably be a good idea to expand at this point. But, you know, let's just actually try to just, you know, ram it in and see if we can get anything done, okay? If we have some extra money left over, you know, we'll try to, you know, I can spread out a little bit because he has another storm. Let's just try to ram it in, right? If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, just live with the results, right? If we can kinda... get in there. And we win. So, you know, we could have played macro-y, we could have, you know, done all these things, but we decided to just stay focused on our concept and our plan of attack. Could it have failed? Yes, could have failed, but that's okay. At least we had a clear strategy, we executed on it. And as you get better, you can start multitasking. You could expand and do all these things and go drops and do all these fancy things, but the most important part is what is your primary strategy, and just execute it, you know? And if it's the case that your opponent was also focused and they executed better, then you just lose and you live with the results, right? That's okay. But the most important thing is to just have a plan, right? And we said, okay, we're just going to make a bunch of units. We're not going to get Storm. We're going to make Archons. He's taking a third base, so I'm just going to try to kill him with the timing. And we did. Alright, we got another PvP. But yeah, a good heuristic to follow is, you know, roughly 41 probes, supports 2 base production. That equates to about 35 workers on minerals and 6 on gas, right? I mean, you could maybe get away with like 38, 39 or something, but again, if you're off by a couple, it's fine. Usually you get there at around like 6:30 to 7 if you're disciplined with your your probe production. So, well, that's if you go forward to like fast expand in PvZ or, you know, even PvT-ish. So it really depends. In PvP, obviously, you are not expanding as fast, so you wouldn't expect to get there at 7 minutes, but you might expect to get there maybe, you know, 8:30, right? Just kind of general estimates. I don't exactly know when you get there, but and so if you know that you've been microing, making workers a lot around that time, then then you can reasonably know that I can support 8K production at that time, right? So, you know, without getting too bogged down on exact build orders, which you can do if you want to memorize build orders, you can just use that as a general tip. That you should be able to support the production around that time. And in fact, you should always rush to it, assuming you're not dying. You never want to have a problem where you have less gateways than you actually need. Okay, so we scouted the 10-12 gate immediately, which is beautiful. One minor adjustment that you can do is instead of mining gas with 2 workers, you can just mine. I mean 3, you can mine it with 2. Just so you're slightly more. Your mineral production is slightly better. The big question that I'm really looking for right now is, how fast are they gonna get their gas, right? A lot of times they go for something like this 21 gas, which is they get their gas immediately after their 3rd zealot. And when they go for that, that's a very different build than if they don't get the gas. Because if they don't get the gas, it could be 5 zealots, it could be 7 zealots. It could be very much something like an expansion with Forge. So it looks like there is no gas. So again, one little tip is I like to semi-probe out and shift click back to the mineral. It's a very simple way to just get scouting information for free. So let's get range, and as usual, what we want to do is bring our zealot up front. And then send our Dragoon out. And start microing as soon as you can. We want to use ground to our advantage. And we want to focus a lot of our attention on just microing, right? It should be here, right? No? Very interesting. I wonder if he went back. Or maybe he went another path, actually. Nope. Looks like we can just micro. It's better if you target fire, so you attack the same exact zealot, especially if they like swap positions. It's just good to do this, right? It's just free hits, right? Try not to take damage. It's a little bit hard. When you have a second, just make a. Oh, I didn't kill that zealot, unfortunately. And, we could. Many ways we can punish this, but let's just try to be the most straightforward as we can, okay? It appears like this is a very common opener at this level, right? Where they just, play the most easiest way, making zealots and then expanding, making stuff, and they try to buy time. So of course we could have played this more aggressively and, whatever, but for as long as you can, if you can get free hits, then take the free hits. And we're just gonna sit here and mass a bunch of stuff, right? Because their tech was so late, they cannot possibly have anything that concerns us, right? And if they don't have anything that concerns us, then we should just continue on with, seeing what we could get done with good Reaver control, right? And like I said, as usual, if we fail, we fail. That's okay. And this also seems like it's an all-in, and it kind of is, but at the same time, your perspective should be, well, if you deal enough damage, then it's not really all-in. Like I'm still making workers, I'm not completely cutting like crazy, I'm not, doing much of anything, right? So, okay, it looks like he does one of these little tricky dick moves where they hide a zealot. It's fine. Deal with it kind of calmly. I think he's aware that the push is coming. Okay, so let's go ahead and attack. I would also recommend getting an observatory just in case they like rush Dark Templars, right? It's very unlikely that they'll have, you know, Dark Templars ready. Ooh. So especially with that amount of units, very unlikely. So let's just focus our attention on microwing with this Reaver. Every time you fire, you kind of follow them one by one. If you have hotkeys on your gateways, then use them. Slowly, just kind of mode them through. Don't get too far away from your units and your shuttle, right? And so every time you can hit a unit, just hit it, right? And again, I'm just completely focused on microing, right? And anytime you get something, just go. When it's in range, go. And try to target clusters every time you can. You know, always try to attack behind. And that should be it. Notice I'm really not taking any of my attention away from this battle, right? Just completely focused on this combat, and the amount of value you can really just generate is very high, right? Oh, we lost that, but that's okay, because we have so much. Sorry to fire myself. Okay. Now we can go ahead and expand, and you know, does it... Are we behind? Who knows? Who cares? Now we play on. We got some money, right? So let's go spend it. You can probably even just, you know, go up to 6 gateways, right? He's trying to be aggressive, which is very interesting. Target fire! Target fire! These were a bunch of pros. And again, we just play on, right? Don't panic. You know, it almost sometimes feels like, oh, you know, because we didn't get all of our damage done, that all of a sudden we have to sort of panic, right? That's not true at all, right? Just keep making units. You know, he's just constantly donking into us. So like, notice how our opponent is the one who's being hasty, right? We're kind of sitting back. We're patient with our time. Oops, looks like I'm the one that's also throwing away some of my units. And when we have 2 Reavers, again, that's just a good time to consider attacking, right? Try to spread your goons out. And it might be kind of uncomfortable, like, going uphill, but let's try it. Just pay really close attention to your Reavers, make sure they don't. Let's go, right? Now, I don't know if they actually have Reavers. And again, you can, you know, macro a little bit. Certainly not be able to hold Reaver push. In between, you can kind of squeeze in a little bit of macro. And you can be patient again. See what damage you can get done. Oh. And you always want to pair the Reavers together. Okay, we lost that. Target fire, target fire, target fire, target fire, target fire. Oops. They might actually have another base somewhere. Target fire the Reaver, get the Reaver. High value unit. High value unit. High value unit. High value unit. So clever combat. Alright. We did it! I wonder if he actually had a third base. He may have. Right? But you know, when you play Reavers and Goons, you just really have to practice the Reavers and the Goons. Don't make Reavers and Goons and then neglect the Reavers and the Goons. Right? And I think the important thing, kind of mechanically, to figure out is, you know, when you have opportunities to get free hits on the units, take it. You know, it's okay. Look, you see my money? My money is floating. That's okay. Float the money. If you have free hits, get the free hits. If you get better, then multitask in between, right? But don't always put multitasking above free hits, right? And so what we opted to do, we just wanted to wait for a push. And again, like in general, PvP, it's just sometimes just a good time to go and attack is have a handful of goons and 1 or 2 Reavers and just go and see what happens, right? It's generally speaking, it's, you know, not gonna be a bad idea, unless it's like super late, right? And I would say like before you get into combat, that's a good time to start macroing, right? Like the pattern of just like as your units are traveling to your opponent's base, that's a good time to, you know, make workers, make runes, you know, maybe consider expanding or get ready for an expansion, right? But once your Reaver is out, you know, the vast majority of my attention is glued to this moment, right? And you can macro back at home by pressing 5 and 6 on the gateways so that you don't actually have to go back home. So you at least spend some money, but you're not doing much of anything else, right? And that's okay. And you just keep microing the Reaver back and forth. And the amount of value that we just generate by doing this, as opposed to just A moving in, is really, really great, right? They add a lot of units. You have an expansion, right? I don't have an expansion, right? Don't panic about the expansion. Don't put expansions above the actual combat, right? And, you know, because it has 5 gate production and I'm not really doing much at home, I'm floating a bunch of money, you know, I'm not really immediately winning this, right? And this is kind of an example of like, okay, I focused all my APM on this. I'm floating 1,000 murals back home and I don't have a Nexus, but I'm not really all in, right? Because I focused my attention on getting value out of combat. And after all was said and done, I went back home and then I started to macro, right? Or maybe after like one more skirmish over here, right? I'm like, okay, well, try to get as much as I can get done now, right? After all this happens, I'm like, okay, fine. After I can't get anything else done, I decided, okay, now I'm gonna start making my expansion, right? But look at the situation, right? Even though he has 5 gateways and a Nexus, and I don't have a Nexus, you know, the worker count is 28 to 19 because, you know, I was able to combat really well, right? And now imagine if you get better at the game and then you can squeeze in a Nexus while you're combating, right? And imagine how strong this would be, right? And so that's why, especially in PvP, you can always make things happen with Goons and Reavers, right? Don't always feel like, oh, they have a Nexus, I'm behind, I have to go all in, I have to be hasty. No, don't be hasty. Just micro well, do as well as you can, and if you lose, then you lose. I think that is the most true in PvP. Honestly, things like faster expansions and macro matter so much less in PvP. It matters, but it's deceptively unimportant. I'll say that. Because Reavers are so consequential that economic advantages, you know, don't matter as much. Alright, let's go, next game. Oh, we're starting to breach 2000, so I might have to play more mechanically. I need to up the mechanics here, but we'll try to keep it limited. Try to see if we can get this done, you know, hopefully under 200 APM. So I would say A-rank Zergs oftentimes fall under 2 categories, right? Where they tend to get stuck because they are overly aggressive and they don't really know what they're doing. And so they, you know, kind of get stuck, right? Because they just keep gambling every game. But maybe their micro is pretty good, right? Or you have kind of textbook Zergs who don't go for enough punishes, right? Those are like the two, it's like a bimodal distribution. Those are like the biggest categories of people who are stuck in A rank as Zergs as it pertains to PvZ, okay? Now, every now and then you find people like in between where they like do everything pretty well, but they just need to be better, right? Just mechanically speaking. I find that to be very rare though, in my experience, very rare. I usually see people in A rank, the reason why they're losing or they can't ascend past it is because of like a very specific thing that they just don't fix. Whoops, I'm supposed to double scout, sorry. Bad habit. Doing double scout here. And this build that we're gonna do, which is basically a Sairless build, is designed to punish both of those. Right, both of those kinds of archetypes, and that's kind of why this would be a good way, a good build, so to speak, for just that. That looks like a hatch first. This actually might be a oh my god, I messed up. Okay, I messed up. Okay. At least we forced some stuff to come out, but usually you're supposed to punish, but that's okay! Because in B rank, sometimes we fail cannon rushes. I'm gonna make a gateway. That gateway is pretty far out there, but he has a gas, he's floating some money. It's not the end of the world, because, you know, they did bring out some, you know, stuff to deal with that, right? And again, generally speaking, the heuristic for making a cannon is as long as the cannon starts before the Zergling hatches, then you should be fine. And again, I also like to make a pylon at 16 so I don't get blocked. Again, let's... Oh, look at this guy. Good micro. Look at that. You gotta respect that. When you have the money, let's just rush Cybercore. And again, I did my shift click move, sending my thing out. You destroyed this guy, nice. Well, let's test him. This is a skill check. Let's see how well he understands PvZ. Because I'm playing a build that is very easily abusable by better players. Once I have about 100 gas, I'm gonna make a my +1 weapons. Once I have another 100 gas, I'm gonna make a Citadel. And again, the most important thing is non-stop probe so that I can hit my 41 at about 6:45 to 7. I also would prioritize non-stop zealots because we're gonna go for a speed lot rush. His expansion is surely at 3 o'clock because we saw the drones going that way. Like this is a Spire. Generally speaking, we just continue on with our build. Everything looks stable, looks like they have sling speed, so basically what we just do is you know, keep banking up zealots, let's get leg upgrades. When we have gas, we're gonna go ahead and make a Templar Archives. But constantly making zealots and workers, pretty straightforward, right? Pretty straightforward. And we make Templar Archives. You can make a second cannon just to be safe, and honestly, I would recommend it. If you want to be just really, you know, make sure everything is... The second cannon is just good to have because eventually they'll, you know, get hydras and stuff. So I'm going to make a cannon over here. Let's also just make a cannon at my natural. And then we're going to move out. Let's actually move out to over there. And as we move out, let's put down 2 more gateways. One little trick that I'd like to have is send one zealot and right click it to their main base while you go to their other base, okay? And then with this build, we're also going to get a second cannon over there. The main base. Try to get in. Try to target fire some of these drones, and at this point, we are already ahead. And try to snipe this, that would be great, but make sure we just, generally speaking, run away if we can, because why not? Move up to 8 gateways, because why? We have at least 44 probes. We can make some stuff over there, just so that we don't die. I'm gonna make a Dark Archon so that we can eventually get ready for any sort of muta, right? So whenever you do any damage like that, especially like, you know, making their, you know, getting them to panic and all that stuff, that's usually a really, really good sign that you're ahead. And if you're ahead, you know, why not just make another cannon at your natural? You know, you don't want to die to mutas because it is true that you're vulnerable against them. We will try to counter them by making Dark Archons and Maelstrom. But at this point, once you're already ahead, really what we're trying to do is simply just wait and you know, move up to a big goon push and stuff. Right now, if you have the APM, you know, go ahead and do things like this. Like you can scout with speed zealots. Be very careful to not actually lose your speed zealots though, but it's good to just kind of see what's going on. You know, it looks like they're not going for like some sort of crazy Hydra all in. Look at that, Cameloid, dude. This guy watches the stream, dude. This guy actually watches the stream, you know? So if you have the APM, which you probably should in A rank, you know, you should try to just do this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like just run around. Run around and scout, right? We now have Maelstrom, so we don't need to worry about some sort of mutabombs anymore, right? Again, we make 2 rounds of goons by waiting for at least 400 gas. We have plenty of gas because we don't have any Corsairs. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 goons, right? 7 goons. 8 goons. Upgrade. Observatory. Then after your first round of goons, what do we do, boys? Go ahead and expand, right? Because now we have ranged units at our disposal. So now we don't have to worry about kind of tricky dick. You know, Hydras and stuff, right? And we'll just keep making 2 rounds of goons. And with our observer, we should go ahead and try to attack. We have 1/1 upgrades. We have a nice third base on the way. If they counter us and kill the third base, that would be a good move by them, but we can go ahead and let them do that. Alright, so what's the focus here now, guys? Actually, one good practice is make a few High Templars behind when you attack. Okay. And you can macro as you're en route. And send some probes if you want before. Maybe you can get one more macro cycle in before we go into combat. Oh, look at that. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna focus all of our attention on combat, right? Get all of our goons up front. Slowly try to push on in. If they move forward with the Hydras, then we storm. If not, we don't. Okay, so they picked one off, that's okay. If you want to go back now and make some more units, go for it. But we just want to be very, very careful. Notice I'm not hasting in. And you only storm when their Hydras come in, okay? Storm. 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 Slowly get in. Again. We're focusing all of our intention on this combat right here. I don't care if I float 10,000 minerals. We get all our Templars going. Hold position the goons, if that makes it easier. Let them get hasty. Move forward. Move everything forward. Slowly, slowly, slowly. See if we can, you know, catch a storm somewhere. Maybe we can, maybe we can't, who knows. Again, we killed that. Catch another storm. Are we floating 3,000? Yes, we are! That's the right thing to do. Slowly move forward. Does he have more stuff? Let's see. Let's just scout to see. Does he have more stuff we can storm? Oh, look at him. Look at him. Oh, we did lose an observer. But let's see if we even need it. Looks like we do need an observer. Okay. So now we can go back home. We can go ahead and spend our money. Templar, Zealot, Zealot, Zealot. And we can go ahead and expand, make some more workers, do all that good stuff. Right? Make Templar energy. Right? But notice I'm not focusing on, you know, I'm making sure that I focus on combat rather than focusing on macro, right? And let's see if we can just aim move. Can we do it? I don't even have any storms. No, we can't. And that's okay. I think it's also good practice to get like observer speed. These things are always nice to get. Try to secure bases here. He doesn't have a 5th base, so we're honestly doing swimmingly well here. Now we're effectively maxed out. Can even make some more cannons here if we want to be safe. Even put some High Templars there for safety. Looks like he wants to be tricky. Let's see if we can actually just bust in there, right? Again, sometimes it's not terrible to just ram in there if you're maxed out. But again, why don't we just practice for good measure? Focusing on our combat again, okay? See if we can get any good value. Right. Now let's just ram in there, because why not, right? And I believe we just win! The most frustrating, you know what the most frustrating thing is, guys, for a Zerg player? And I say this as a former Zerg player. The most frustrating thing is a Protoss that's actually watching their army. And it sounds embarrassing to say, because most Protosses don't watch their army. And, you know, as we just saw there, you know, I floated 5,000 minerals at like 13, 14 minutes. I, you know, fed my son, you know, changed his diapers, stormed in, changed his diapers again, stormed in, and we got a ton of value, right? And we were able to do that because we were just looking, we were just focusing on the right things, right? I didn't use a ton of crazy speed or mechanics to, you know, micro like Bisu. I just stormed, I just moved forward, I just stormed, I just moved forward. And you can get a lot done. And just imagine how much better you're gonna be, or how much better I could be if I were not floating 5,000 minerals, right? So just something to keep in mind. All right, let me go to the restroom, I'll be back. All right, we have returned. Are we ready? Can we hit A rank today, boys? Can we hit A rank by floating 5,000 minerals? I don't know. I don't know. The only exception to all this is PvT. If you're playing with goons and zealots and arbiters. Unfortunately, I mean, positioning matters and stuff, but unfortunately, being careful is less consequential in PvT. It's more important to just be aggressive and take good fights, take good positions. So PvT functions a little bit differently, unless you're playing a very high skill style like Snow with the Reavers and such. So you have to kind of switch gears when you play PvT, if you want. Oh shit, we got a S rank Protoss player. Can we play B rank mechanics against S rank Protoss? Can we do it? Let's try it. Let's try it. We're gonna do it. Let's see what we can get done. B rank mechanics versus S rank Protoss player. Okay, don't freak out just because you see an S rank player. Don't freak out. You know, just because somebody's a higher MMR than you. Don't start cutting corners. Don't start playing cheesy builds. Just stick to the plan. Stick to the plan and just accept the loss. You know, I think when people start freaking out when they see, you know, higher ranked players on ladder, or they start freaking out when they hit random, you're effectively just, you know, owning yourself before anything even happens. Just allow the loss to slowly come to you. Okay, so we're gonna try the same thing. Most S rank tosses don't go 2-gate, just because 2-gate is honestly more like the Foreigner special. It's really not that good. That said, maybe on laggy ladder games, Koreans get impatient and go 2-gate just to win fast, which is reasonable. But I don't expect to see a 2-gate. You really don't see a whole lot of 2-gate in S rank, unless, again, they're just an impatient Korean who just doesn't want to play in lag. I would recommend not playing 2-gate either. I mean, I think it's fine to play. It's not terrible. It's just, I think it just kind of hampers your critical and fundamental understanding of PvP. Interesting. Why did his probe come out all the way over there? I find that to be very interesting. I'm actually going to scout the center because actually, no, I don't think it needs it. It should be fine. It's like he just sent his thing a little bit faster than mine. Never mind, that was a misread on my end. His probe was fine. Scouting direction does like feel a little fishy though. Unless he scouted cross spawns? Wow, did he go cross spawns? Wow, look at that. He went cross spawns first. Sometimes people do this because they want to see, they're just selecting a strategy that only works if the rush distances aren't really large. So, you know, perhaps that's the case. Fortunately, we got last scout. Let's see what we're up against. There should be at least a zealot up front. 3 of them. Okay, looks like we do have a 2-gate. Very surprising to me. Maybe it's this map, I don't know. There's a gas, so that's going to be a 21. But yeah, we just do the same thing. Micro. Oh. Oh. very surprised by this guy's choice to go gas into all that. So I did unfortunately take a lot more damage than I wanted to. But let's just stick to our plan. We're gonna try to counter with Reavers. I'm behind, by the way. Try to build a... Again, we're gonna kind of stick to our game plan here. He didn't expand, but we're just gonna go ahead and try to utilize some Reaver play. And I don't know if he's going to be out there, but let's just see it. Let's expand behind it. He might take this high ground up there. Honestly, I don't really know how to play this kind of map, but... Big counter. This is the kind of game that kind of degenerates into a base trade situation. He has another base, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, he had more stuff. He may have actually started his Nexus a lot sooner. Yeah, okay. That's what happened. I should have, I needed to have guarded my thing a little bit faster. My ramp with the Reaver, I should have been able to... I should have brought my goons faster, but that's okay. Yeah, I think, I don't know. He plays, like, that kind of build, he, like, went for the 21 gas, and then made, like, 7 zealots, and then made, you know, it's kind of a strange build-ish. You know, I wonder, it actually makes me wonder if it's like a Smurf or something. Like, just trying to kind of like bamboozle me with the craziest thing. Because I've honestly never even like seen anything like that. Or just maybe it's like some sort of crazy Korean or something, you know? I've literally never seen that in my life. But, you know, PvP people do crazy things, so that's okay. Sorry, I didn't mean like a Smurf, but like a sniper or something. Maybe not. But that was like some crazy creative player there. Going for a Sugo expansion like that. But anyways. Alright. Play another one. Is this radio? Yeah, it is. Same thing. Oh. It's Korean? Okay, so probably just a very creative Korean. But it's like, yeah, like usually when you go 21 gas, they don't make more than 3 zealots. Now, of course you can, but it's just, I think it's pretty dumb, you know, to go for like many zealots there. I think I misstepped early because my Goon Zealot got trapped at my ramp, and because I did that, I lost the upper hand, so to speak. So. But I did successfully defend, but I was still pretty behind at that point. Because I still lost a probe, maybe even 2 probes. I lost like mining time, I lost Dragoon, so I lost so many things there. Alright, let's see the next game. Is this truly the ladder experience for you guys? Is it all like a bunch of PvPs? I feel like I've played so many PvPs. If that's the case, getting to S rank is really just about learning PvP. Right? If you could at least hold a 60%, like an above 50% win rate on ladder, I feel like you'll slowly get to S rank. We'll try it. We'll see it. Ryan 6 class, dude. Like Jinjin, but A? Is that a insult to yourself or an insult to Jinjin? Okay, another PvP. I mean, I guess this is it. This is the Journey to S experience. It's just a bunch of PvPs. So we're gonna get godly at PvP. This is exactly how we do it, right? As long as you're godly at PvP, you should be able to get to S rank. And the best way to learn PvP is to just take out degenerate gambling from your arsenal. And just try to play as stable as possible. Is this Fighting Spirit? Shield battery? What's up? Is this Polyport or Fighting Spirit? I can't really tell. Kind of concerned. I don't know where to build my gateway. I'll build it like right here. Oh, it's Fighting Spirit, okay. Okay. See what we're up against. Again, we're gonna play 1-gate Robo. Play safe. Play stable. Play reasonable. That's the most important thing. And honestly, PvP is, if you play this, it's honestly not complicated, right? It's not, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not complicated. And I think that simplifies a lot of things. Simplifies so much when you don't have to play complicated, and you know, just really comes down to timing attacks and focusing your attention on the right things. And I'm cross scouting because he scouted me first, so unless he's doing some weird cross scout, then this should be fine. Let's see what we're up against. Like a same build, which is nice. Again, keep the probe alive until 310. 310's when the goon comes out. Make sure they're making range, right? Make sure they're can scout for a citadel. Make sure you can scout for a third pylon, right? So I just made range, which means that he should be making range too, right? I don't see them moving out. Oh, no, maybe. I didn't really catch them making anything else, right? And we're gonna put the probe away somewhere out onto the map because we still want to use it. 22 pylon. Make the goon as soon as we can. Sometimes you could even just like send the goon out just to kind of hunt for the stray probe that might be around. You know, sometimes they kind of like leave it around in these corners, so just don't like get too comfortable. Sometimes like they might hunt for your dragoon with the goon salad as well. And obviously try not to allow their probe to come into your base by being cognitive of the salad. You can also just like leave it back here if you're worried about that. Then again, this probe is over there. If you want, you can just make like a scouter pylon somewhere. You know, it doesn't really hurt to have scouter pylons. And that probe's gonna come back in roughly at around 450. Just to see if we're up against a 2-gate push. Fighting Spirit has a really short rush distance, so if you're up against a 2-gate push, then you have to run up your ramp immediately. So right now we're basically just trying to you know, deny scouting information. Hopefully we should be able to see what they're up to. If we see dragoons, oh, that's a push. Lift that up. No, that's a 1-gate. 1-gate. Very interesting. He pushed with 1-gate. Because it's 1-gate, the interesting thing here is we can actually just go ahead and go straight into Reaver, right? Or, sorry, Shuttle Reaver, because there's no threat of Dark Templars, right? This could also just be like a 1-base kind of all-in, so to speak, right? So we're just gonna make an arc and focus on units. It's okay if we fall behind economically. Why? Because they're also on 1-gate. Robotech, right? So even if they decide to sneak an expansion right now, that's okay. Just let them, right? Like, you're not going to be that far behind. And again, you could make it up with, you know, something else. So they might have a slightly faster shuttle because they, I got an observatory and they didn't. If that's the case, let them do that. And I'm just prioritizing workers. And again, you know, we should probably be trying to be making, we should probably think about expanding, right? But again, if you're just worried, don't worry too much about it. The most simple heuristic you can have is to just, you know, just wait for your Reaver and attack. And if you don't know what they're doing, just send a probe out. I like to send a probe out over there and then rally click back home, right? I don't see them pushing, right? So if they're not pushing, then I should go ahead and maybe even push myself. It's also good to make a scouter pylon somewhere up there. Well, they might be actually. So let's set up so we can maybe catch them. Now it's time for combat, right? Or is it? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's not. Yeah, it looks like they have an observer there. So that's how they knew. We can go ahead and expand. We'll bring our second Reaver in. And with that second Reaver, we can go ahead and try to push. Okay. Would also be a good idea to start, you know, making a second gateway and such. Again, focusing on all of that when you're not in combat. Let's see if we could do this. Maybe we can like queue up a Reaver behind, right? Slowly kind of come in, see if we can maybe target some of these. Try to fire the Reaver. I'm back. Oh. That happens. That happens, you lose the game. That's it. Welcome to StarCraft. Right? Easy. Easy. Very easy, right? Alright. So what's our game plan? What's our game plan now that we lost that? You know? We're just gonna... We're still gonna believe, right? We're gonna believe. Do you guys have belief? Or are you guys just, you know... did we give up already? You know? Did we give up? Or do we believe? In order for us to believe, I'm just going to literally mass as much as I possibly can, and we're gonna go in for another push, okay? We're gonna believe. We're gonna believe, okay? We don't give up. We do not give up. We don't do that on this stream. Okay, we're just gonna keep pumping a bunch of Dragoons. I think he might actually have settle there. Oh no. Unfortunately, I lost all my units over there. So my belief is starting to wane, but you know what? We're still gonna believe, okay? You know why? Because you know, Reavers are good. We're still gonna believe. I believe. Do you guys believe in me? We're gonna believe. Are we still believing? Oh! Okay, I no longer believe. Where's our belief? Are we not believing anymore? I don't believe anymore. You guys don't believe? Do I have any believers in the chat? Hey, you know, it's okay. It's okay. We're still gonna believe, okay? Oh. We believed. We believed. It's okay. That's okay. Well, if you lose your Reavers and shuttles like that, you basically lose. But you don't give up. You don't give up. You want to keep trying with Goon Reaver, right? Just wait for that next Goon Reaver attack. You know, wait for your 2 shuttles. I mean, 2 Reavers and the shuttle, and just keep trying. Like even if you know you're gonna lose, it's good practice to just look for the opportunities. Like hunt for those opportunities, right? You really have to just hunt for those opportunities. Oh gosh, same guy. You think this guy's trolling me? I think in general, it's just really, really important to, you know, don't give up, especially when you have the ability to kind of like finesse your way back into a game. You never know. You never know if your opponent just like randomly loses their shuttle, or they have a bunch of like a clump of goons sitting, and then like your Reaver just gets like a huge money shot and like kills a bunch of things, right? So that's why, like, you know, even though I knew I was gonna lose, it's okay. Just like focus, practice, practice. And I promise you that mindset, like even if you're gonna lose, practicing that mindset where you're just hunting for opportunity when you're in a behind situation, playing like you have nothing to lose, that is actually one of the most important things in StarCraft, because a lot of people tend to just give up when they know they're gonna lose, right? But that kind of tenacity or the resilience is actually something that's very important in the game. But so when you're losing, if you have high skill, high APM units around in your arsenal that can scale, I would never leave. Never leave. Oh. Same guy. Again, S rank. Again, we're just gonna keep trying to play the same exact way. I'm not particularly looking to, you know, play super fancy or anything. I mean, that was a very fast probe scout. It's possible it could just be a 9-9 gate. You know, I mean, this just seems very fishing. Very laggy as well. Last time I played this guy, he also did do a funny like cross Nexus scout, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did that again. Indeed he did. So he actually skipped a Zealot. Sometimes what you can do against Zealot skippers is like just pylon block them if you can. Just because they just generally lack the DPS to effectively like deal with it. Unfortunately, we do lose the probe, but you know, it does disrupt their mining in a way that does make, you know, it does help. I don't know if I'm supposed to bust that, but I think I should. Right, we do see, you know, range on the way, so it looks relatively stable. I'm gonna be supply blocked now because, you know, there was a cost to that, but we just gained it back. I probably made that pylon a little bit too early. Now my robo's gonna be slightly late, which is unfortunate. That was kind of a misstep for me, but that's okay. Given that they don't have a goon, they no longer have a timing, right? They don't have that 2-gate timing that we're worried about at about 5 minutes. You know, usually when I use my, you know, my probe to scout to see if that's coming, that's really not as much of a concern anymore because he skipped Zealot, right? Skipping Zealot is economically better, but, you know, the Zealot actually makes a big deal as it pertains to the combat. So it could be going for a push, but it's less likely, right? Because, you know, he's missing a Zealot and I have the Zealot, right? It makes it really hard for them to, you know, dive in and micro against it, especially when I'm in the defensive stance. So we should comfortably be able to stay down there. Observatory. Again, we're just kind of denying any scouting information. Yeah, they can be going 3 Zealot. Oh, it's unfortunate because I didn't kill that. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Go ahead and send this across. Make sure we're not up against DT, and if you are, you can make a wall like this. So that even if they go DT, they can't walk into your base. We're just trying to see what they're up to. I mean, we don't see units coming, right? So it's obviously not going to be a 3-gate. This is most likely just looking like a pretty normal opener. So if they have an expansion, I like to go for the speed. So I'm just going to go ahead and make the speed because I think it's looking like a 1-gate opener or an expansion of some sort. It's feeling that way. Interesting. Well, it looks like it's actually a 3-8. Three-gate OB. That's basically designed to punish DT, basically insta win against DT. But we want to make sure. Is there Nexus? There is no Nexus actually, which is kind of concerning. Makes me actually wonder what this is. Given that this is the same guy that, you know... Yeah, it might be another hidden base. Should have my speed upgrade.
Upgrade complete. You must construct additional pylons. You must construct additional pylons.
Such a strange game. I don't really know what he's actually up to. I really messed up my micro over there. Very strange game.
Not long.
Still don't know what I'm up against. Which is the craziest part about all this. It literally just a one base all in? You got so much, but I also killed a lot too, right? Still very perplexed as to what I'm playing against. Also, I think having a shuttle and an observer is going to help out a lot. Very nice. This is the kind of game where I'll probably play for Reavers all game, just because it's kind of scrappy. Just gonna wind up for a big push. Okay, we won. That was really bad micro, but yeah, that's so funny. That was very strange. Unfortunately, I didn't kill his Reaver in the beginning. That should have been a very, very easy hold, but that's okay. I still was able to do a lot there. I think he just went for a one base donkey play. Out with the first Reaver? I don't actually think that's that bad of a, you know, decision there. I mean, we scouted there was no other bases, so it was just literally on some sort of crazy one base all in, right? So looks like he was thinking about it, I guess. But yeah, he was just on one base all in. So I literally scouted everything in the universe. There's nothing. If he has that many goons, he can't have a Reaver, so... I mean, I have a battery and it's Reavers, so... I think it was a reasonable play, right? Because, you know, I wasn't completely sure that he didn't have another base. I thought he probably had one there, but... I mean, the fact that I even messed up my micro and I still lived, a testament to, you know, like, I think the reasoning behind like moving out, I think it's fine because he had goons, right? We know that they weren't on Reaver Tech, right? It's one thing if they were on Reaver Tech, then you shouldn't move out like that. But we knew that they were on goons. So if you have a shield battery and a, you know, Reaver behind, then I don't think it was a terrible idea to not go for the counterattack. But I could see you could choose to stay. But at the same time, we just played that guy who made a ninja base. So I didn't fully believe that he didn't have a base out there. So I felt it was reasonable to do that. You can disagree until your grave. And, you know? But I'm the streamer. You're not. I mean, playing solid doesn't mean that you play defensive and passive, you know? I think that is probably the worst way to play. Now, like, you can open a build that's kind of catch-all, and the catch-all could be, you know, like, attempting to account for most situations, but playing one build doesn't mean that you play it passively, right? Like in a lot of these games, I'm making an explicit decision to attack or to counterattack and all these things. And so, you know, it's really about making decisions and then assessing the quality of those decisions with the replay. And as I watched the replay, I think it was the right move. Because if I didn't counterattack, you know, and he just waits up and bangs up for stuff, then, like, you know, you could still lose, right? Like, they can get damage done. They could, you know, but... Now you don't want to be moving out if they have Reavers in front of your base. That's the big kind of like takeaway. But if they just have a clump of goons and you have like a battery and Reavers behind, then it's really not that big of a deal. Oh shoot, we're up against Zerg. Okay, well, we'll take a handicap. That's the handicap. That's the handicap. We'll take a handicap. We're now in A-rank territory, so we probably have to play like a little bit harder. Obviously, we played an S-ranker twice. Double the scout. Same thing. I always move my probes back home because I'm not used to double scouting. I don't usually do this build very much, but this will account for any Zerg openers. I'll send my 13th probe down, see if we need to make a cannon. Looks like we can go ahead and try to attempt a cannon rush. No, that's okay. Come back home. We are certainly behind, but that's okay. We will play on. Because sometimes we fail the cannon rush. Because they went for all of that. Actually, I probably should have kept a probe out there, just so I can scout. Just want to make sure their third base is indeed over there. I'll actually just keep this probe hidden a little bit, if we can. If we can kind of dodge the Overlord, that'd be great. We can sell it. I highly doubt our build is going to work, especially when we're playing from behind with a failed cannon rush like that, unfortunately. But we're just going to do it anyways. We're just going to do it, and we're going to live with the results if it doesn't work. Because, again, better to have a strategy than no strategy. Even if that strategy fails. Go ahead and make a citadel. See if we can actually get inside the base. Very nice. That's always the benefit of just kind of hiding some stuff. So we indeed see that there is a layer text. We don't have to worry about any hydras, which is always very nice. And again, what we're just doing is prioritizing workers. We prioritize zealots. Make that second gas to set up for eventual archons. Leg upgrades. More zealots. Let's make the Templar Archives when we can. Generally prioritize making zealots, but it looks like I got supply blocked, which is unfortunate. Okay. And then we can go ahead and throw down a couple more gateways. You can also make another cannon at the fronts if you're worried about hydras. It's also not bad to just have it, just in general, just because, you know, like, Ling run-bys are very potent. I'm gonna make a cannon in our main base, as well as a cannon at our natural. And let's just go ahead and see what we can get done. We're gonna make two Templars behind us and send it straight over. See what we can get done. And if you've already kind of done your damage, honestly, just run away. We're already in a great spot. Move up to 8 gateways. If you're like really scared, you can actually go. Oh, I was supposed to make an Archon. Oops, forgot about that. Use the Archon to just kind of zone them out. Start our Maelstrom upgrades. Start making some Dragoon upgrades. I'm just gonna kill this. Punish! Punish when they're not looking. We have 3 cannons, which is very beautiful. He also made lots and lots of mutas, which is nice. And we're gonna slowly start making some Dragoons. See if we can catch some more mutas for free! Ah. There's a lot of mutas. When they make a lot of mutas like that, I would just, you can kind of just even over defend with like a 4th cannon, you know. It's not great, but smart Zergs will actually just kind of like counterattack your main. Go ahead and like try to attack. We'll see what we can get done. Because we now have Maelstrom, so unless they have lurkers, you can't really do much about this, right? Let's see if they actually have lurkers. Doesn't seem that way. Okay, looks like they're intelligently using their mutas to kind of but that can only go so far, right? Because now I have storms. And storms really hurt. And we win. So we failed the rush. That's okay. Still went on with our build, tried to get what we could get done, and we were successful. All right, we are now in the depths of A rank now. Depths of A rank. So, all right, I will take a break now. I might try to stream in about a few hours. But hopefully that was helpful to you guys. You know, it makes me wonder like at what level or what MMR I have to start like multitasking really well. So obviously sometimes when things get tight, I start microing a lot more technically. So I think I'll probably do that where I'll micro really hard, but at the same time, I'm gonna try not to multitask a ton. Like as in, you know, if I'm microing really hard, I'm gonna force myself to trade that off against, you know, my macro, right? Or if I'm macroing really hard, then like not really doing both. So, and I think there's a way to effectively like not be a super fast multitasker, but just like focusing on macro, like in between fights, right? Getting into that rhythm. It's really about rhythm in this game, right? And through practice and just kind of your intuition, you get a sense of when you can go back in macro, right? Uh, like I said, when I'm in between fights or when I'm sending my army in front of their base, I go back in macro, make stuff, make stuff, make stuff, right? In between fights, I'll make stuff, right? Or when I have units that don't really need to get microed, and you know, like let's say speed zealots, you know, you could micro them, which is obviously a good idea, but sometimes if you just have A moving units like goons and zealots and you don't have to storm or you don't have a reaver, then you could, you know, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and then go back and macro while you do that. So it all just comes down to when can you find the right opportunities to macro and don't macro when you shouldn't be macroing. So, all right, hope that was helpful. I will stream again later. Peace out, y'all.